Good afternoon and welcome everybody to CRL's webinar on the Linda Hall Library Collections, Expanding Access for CRL Members. Today is March 5th, 2014, and we're very glad that you were able to join us today. We have about 100 people who registered to attend this, and a number of people are just joining us. I just wanted to make sure that we have a couple of housekeeping announcements here at the beginning. For those of you who are connecting, we have two means of connection. One is voice over IP through the computer, and you would have been prompted to connect on that on your sign up. You can also connect through audio through your telephone if that's easier for you. We've slapped up the phone number through the chat function here on the screen. You can dial in and use the password to gain access to the audio content through the telephone if you cannot support audio on the computer. Let us know if you can't hear us, and making sure that our sound is good for everybody. A couple of people have suggested that the sound is a little bit choppy, so we're going to make sure we address that as we go along. We have muted everybody on sign up because the risk of background noise coming in from everybody else's calls makes for some distractions during the presentations. So we've made sure that everybody's muted on entry. You are more than welcome, though, to submit questions or comments or give us feedback through the chat screen or the Q&A screen that you'll see at the bottom of your WebEx event center. So at any time during the presentation, please feel free to submit questions, and we'll make sure that we address them in the course of the presentation or at the end during our question and answer discussion session. So we're going to get started here because we've got a lot to cover, and we are ready to move ahead. I just wanted to introduce the presenters here. We will move more or less in line as we go along. My name is James Simon. I'm the Director of International Resources and Director of the Global Resources Network at CRL. I'll be giving the introduction. The main event, though, will be conducted by Kevin Wilkes, our Head of Access Services here at CRL. And we are joined by a number of guest presenters today to help describe the further detailed aspects of the Linda Hall partnership. And that will include Jane Smith, who's the coordinator at RapidILL and is our primary contact with Rapid. Barbara Coopy, who's the head of interlibrary loan at Penn State University, is also joining us to give a local perspective on the use of the Linda Hall Library Partnership with CRL. And Carrie Cassio, who's the Director of Innovative Technologies and Library Resource Management at the Linda Hall Library, will describe Linda Hall's collections and services. I'll join you at the end to talk a little bit about the partnership moving forward and leading the discussion session at the end. So we anticipate taking an hour or less to present everybody here. So we're glad that you could join us. Here's the agenda for the day. As I've just suggested, the partners will discuss these all in turn. I'll give a brief overview of the partnership. Kevin will talk about accessing the materials and so on. So make sure to send in your questions through chat, and we can route them to the appropriate person during the course of the presentation as well. So let me begin with the introduction and a little bit of context and background to the CRL Linda Hall partnership. As many of you know, CRL has been engaged over the past few years now in a strategic shift in its collection building. This has been through the efforts of the CRL member libraries and with generous support by the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation under our GRN 2014 plan, that is the Global Resources Network 2014. We've embarked on ambitious partnerships in 4 key areas where we've sought to concentrate our resources for research and teaching in support of humanities and social sciences. Those 4 areas here on your screen you can see include news, law and government information, science, technology, and engineering, which is the subject of today's presentation, as well as the history and economics of agriculture. These 4 areas we're seeking to concentrate and extend access to print and electronic materials and provide archiving and persistence to materials as well. So we're really moving holistically in all 4 of these areas, concentrating both on print content and print preservation, as well as digital access and licensing for those materials. I'd be happy to talk more about any 4 of these, but today's subject is on our Science, Technology, and Engineering partnership. Through these partnerships, CRL continues to fundamentally remake its activities and services to align with the new realities of social science and humanities research, and as well as research in the sciences, to meet the needs of scholars in the digital age. So as I've said, this includes both digitization and licensing and electronic delivery of materials. So we'll talk a little bit about the partnership with the Linda Hall Library of Science, Engineering, and Technology in the context of these global partnerships. The partnership with the Linda Hall Library was announced in 2012. It's a strategic partnership to preserve and develop historical research collections in the fields of science, technology, and engineering. It builds on the print serial collections and the print monograph collections collected by both CRL and the Linda Hall Library. These combined collections really are the subject of the partnership, ensuring seamless access to this content for CRL member libraries. The main goals of the partnership are up here on your screen. That is to share, combine, and develop the science, technology, and engineering collections of both libraries, and to promote broad access and support through traditional ILL and document delivery, as well as through digitization of collections, as well as maintaining print collections in these areas as part of the partnership moving forward. The principal activities of the partnership, which you'll be hearing more about throughout this presentation, include document delivery of serial articles, digitization of monographs, a strong collection assessment and collection development program moving forward, as well as the print archiving component. As I've suggested, the archiving is really inseparable from these collection activities. CRL views the print archiving as an important foundation to its mission of making these materials accessible. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. With no further ado, I'd like to introduce Kevin Wilkes, our Head of Access Services, who will talk more about the access to the Linda Hall and CRL collections here. Kevin?
Hi, I'm Kevin Wilkes, Head of the Access Services Department here at the Center for Research Libraries. Since 2006, the Center for Research Library goal has been to provide research and teaching material in a digital format, making the access of the material more efficient and expedient. That is why we continue to digitize over 700,000 pages each year. We have also partnered with other vendors such as ProQuest, Redex, Ethos, and LLMC, providing our members access to journals, newspapers, and dissertations electronically. In July 2012, we partnered with Linda Hall Library. Now, this partnership gives all of our member institutions free access to the combined collections of over 50,000 science, engineering, and technology print serials. Access is available electronically through on-demand digitization and electronic document delivery. We have contracted with Rapid, allowing all CRL member affiliates to request for free articles from the Linda Hall Library collection using RapidILL. RapidILL is known for their outstanding service and 24 hours or less turnaround time. The process is seamless. I'm going to let Jane Smith, the coordinator of RapidILL, tell you more. Jane?
Thanks, Kevin. Hi, everybody. This is Jane Smith, and as Kevin said, I'm the coordinator of RapidILL. Now, for those of you who don't know, Rapid was conceived, designed, and implemented by the Interlibrary Loan Department at Colorado State University. We're actually a department in the library at Colorado State. And as such, we're a nonprofit entity. We are not allowed to make money, all right? Rapid was designed for very fast, efficient, cost-effective requesting. And we use our own product every day, all right? Currently, Rapid has about 250 member libraries worldwide. The majority of our members are in the United States. We also have members in Canada, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, and we just added our first Australian library. Now, what makes Rapid special is what Kevin has already alluded to. Our system turnaround time has never been longer than 24 hours. And the system fill rate has never fallen below 93%. Now in Rapid, the Rapid members are divided into pods, and these are groups of peer-sized institutions. If I could have the next screen, please, Gwen. We created 2 new pods in order to meet the needs of the CRL Linda Hall project. If you're a Rapid member and you belong to CRL, you are in Rapid's LHL for CRL RM pod. The RM stands for Rapid member. And you're automatically put into this pod. You don't need to do anything to participate in this project. We take care of that for you. If you're not a Rapid member, then you're in the LHL for CRL pod. And that pod gives you access to the CRL and Linda Hall holdings that are covered in this project. And I have a couple questions here that people have submitted. One person asked or has said that they're interested in what serials and other publications are available in Rapid. The quick answer to that is, when a library joins the Rapid system, they send us all of their journal holdings. And then they can tell us what journal holdings to block from being requestable. So you have access to the journal holdings of all of the libraries in the pods in which you participate. As a member, you also have access to Rapid's Easy Lending or Open Access database, and that database currently has just over 11 million open access articles. Rapid also handles book chapters, and we are testing a book requesting module. We haven't announced that yet, so all of you are sworn to secrecy, okay? Libraries can choose whether to participate in the book chapter or the book process as sees fit for their workflow. So let's talk a little bit about this project. If you are a non-Rapid member and you're a CRL member and you use ILLIAD, Clio, or WorldCat resource sharing, which of course is soon going to be WorldShare, your setup for Rapid is simple and it's straightforward. We have complete setup instructions. We'll walk you through the process if you need help. If you're a Relay user, Rapid works just great with Relay, and this week we've had discussions with the folks with Claire at Relay about getting all of you online with Rapid, and that should be happening soon. If you are a VDX library, I'm sorry to tell you that VDX does not play nice with others, and that includes Rapid, but we do have a nice workaround for you, so you will be able to take advantage of this project. We, of course, will train you to use Rapid. Training is done by phone, and it takes maybe an hour. And it would be either myself or Mike Richens who would train you. I think it's important for you to know that nothing changes for your users when you use Rapid. They continue to make their requests just like they do now. It's just that with Rapid, your workflow becomes easier. Okay, I have another question here. It is, how do I use ILLIAD to order materials from Linda Hall via CRL? First, of course, we would set your library up as a non-member of Rapid and do your borrowing training. And after that, it's simply a matter of you moving your article requests into a queue you've created in ILLIAD, the awaiting Rapid sending queue. From there, everything is automated. What we suggest is that you use a routing rule to move all of your CCL articles into, from awaiting copyright clearance directly into awaiting Rapid request sending, which will automate a lot of requests. Then you only need to clear copyright on those CCG articles and put them into awaiting Rapid request sending. Rapid polls that queue regularly, and any requests that match CRL or Linda Hall's holdings in the Rapid database are automatically sent to them. Requests that don't match their holdings simply go back into your ILLIAD awaiting request processing queue for you to handle in a more traditional way. it's important for you to know that you don't need to know if CRL or Linda Hall owns that material, or I should say has that material in the RAPID database, because not all of their material is listed. So if it is in the database, RAPID takes care of it for you. If it's not something that has been selected for this project, those requests just go back into awaiting request processing. Clio and First Search users, you can also use RAPID in an unmediated way. Relay's process is, I believe, equally straightforward. I'm a little embarrassed. We only use Relay for lending at Colorado State, so I'm kind of slow on the uptake with the borrowing side. But we do have two Canadian libraries, University of New Brunswick and Dalhousie University are in RAPID. They are Relay libraries, Relay libraries, and they really think RAPID is easy. Let's see, there's one more question here. How do I use RapidILL to fulfill LHL content? Just like I described a minute ago. The process is the same for Linda Hall or CRL articles, and again, you don't need to know if that material is included in this project. RAPID takes care of that for you. Gwen, may I have the next slide, please? When you're using RAPID for the CRL Linda Hall project, it gives you not only very easy access to CRL's journal collection, but you're also able to request selected items from Linda Hall's STEM collection. And Carrie's going to talk more about those materials in a few minutes. This is important. Any items you receive from Linda Hall via the CRL Linda Hall project through RAPID will be free of charge. Those items are processed and filled for you courtesy of CRL. They also pay any charges. So everything you receive, the RAPID non-member status, RAPID requesting, the training, the articles from Linda Hall are all free. Now here's my email address on the screen, jane.smith@colostate.edu. Please write me if you have any questions or concerns, but I will tell you that starting tomorrow, I'm going to be out of the country, and I won't be back in the office until April 1st. So in the meantime, I suggest you contact the RAPID team. And that address is RAPID staff, which is all one word, at rapidill.org. And one of the guys will get back to you. So now let me give you back to Kevin at CRL. Kevin?
Thanks, Jane. We have received questions concerning the scanning and delivery of book chapters through RapidILL for this project. We do understand the importance of book chapter delivery. However, we are currently focusing on just the delivery of articles through RapidILL. We did have a question asking that if you already have RAPID, is there anything else you have to do? And no, again, if you have RAPID, there's absolutely nothing you need to do. Please remember this is an absolutely free service to our members. Now, as of March 1st, 2013, the partnership was expanded to include on-demand digitization. Now, for on-demand digitization, the requesting process is a bit different. Linda Hall Library will digitize single volumes of their open monograph collection to fulfill requests from scholars at CRL libraries. At this time, only monographs from pre-1950 will be eligible for scanning. Due to royalty costs that would add the digitization request for standards, we decided standards would not be included among those materials eligible for digitizing. It has been found that many government documents have already been scanned by other vendors and are accessible at no cost. This is an image of one of the publications recently requested for scanning. A list of all Center for Research Libraries member institutions has been submitted to OCLC. OCLC has edited all of the CRL member institutions' policy directories group affiliation section to show that you are a member of the center. Request for digitization from Linda Hall Library's collection is done through WorldCat or beginning soon WorldShare. Once the desired material has been found, a request should be submitted to Linda Hall through OCLC. Please make certain to submit the request as an article so that Linda Hall will know you are requesting the scanning of a book. If the request is submitted as a loan, there is a possibility your institution will be charged Linda Hall's loaning fee. Once the request has been submitted, Linda Hall Library will receive the request and note that you are a Center for Research Libraries affiliate. Once it has been determined that Linda Hall Library is able to digitize the material, the request will be immediately updated to shipped article. This will allow the requesting library to maintain their excellent turnaround time and not to let the request die out of OCLC while scanning is in progress. Once the scanning has been completed, the scans are sent to CRL for final processing. The URL is then emailed to the institution for the patron, and the scans are added to the Center for Research Libraries catalog to provide future access by CRL member institutions by searching our catalog, OCLC, Summon, or Primo. The normal turnaround time is 5 business days. Now please remember, if you are requesting an article from Linda Hall, requesting is to be done through RapidILL. If you are requesting the scanning of a book from Linda Hall, requesting is done through WorldCat Resource Sharing. As of date, we filled over 18,000 article requests, and nearly 1,000 pages have been scanned of the pre-1950 monographs. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me or my staff. I'm now going to turn this over to Barbara Coopy, who's the Assistant Head of Access Services and the Head of Interlibrary Loan at Penn State University, who will speak on how they have used this partnership. Barbara?
Hi, Kevin. Hi, everyone. I'm Barbara Coopy from Penn State University. Thank you. Next slide, please. Our library supports the university's mission of teaching, research, and service. We are one library geographically dispersed across 23 campuses, as noted on this map of Pennsylvania. We strive to provide quality service to our users regardless of their location. We have over 130,000 faculty, staff, and students. University Park in the middle of the state is the largest campus. In addition to the campuses on the map, we have the World Campus, which is a virtual online degree granting campus. Plus, as a land-grant institution, we have research labs and extension staff throughout the state. Next slide, please. We are an ARL library, and last year we were 8th in the ARL Investment Index rankings. As you can see from the stats here, we invest in our collection, both print and electronic. Even though we have a good collection, we still rely on interlibrary loan. Next slide, please. We are active in research sharing and overall process over 140,000 requests, 50,000 for borrowing, and more specifically, 20,000 for borrowing articles. We have centralized article processing for 22 of our 23 campuses plus World Campus. We use Iliad as our ILL management system, which is great as articles are posted to the user's account. Next slide, please. In 2012, we joined RapidILL, and the setup included the CRL Linda Hall Library partnership, which gave us immediate access to that joint collection. As a member of CRL, we receive articles at no charge from Linda Hall Library via RapidILL. Next slide, please. 60% of our articles are filled via RapidILL. The average turnaround time from request sent to delivered to web is 20 hours. In 2013, we received 116 requests from Linda Hall Library. The average turnaround time was an amazing 10 hours. Next slide, please. What we value is access to Linda Hall Library's great collection. I randomly selected some titles we received and was surprised to see so many titles where Linda Hall Library is the only holding or one of 2 or 3 holdings in Rapid. Next slide, please. Who requested the articles? Well, as you can see, our faculty and grad students from agricultural sciences, science, health and human development, earth and mineral sciences, and engineering received articles. We are pleased to be able to obtain needed articles for our researchers in a fast, simple process. Thank you.
Thanks, Barbara. That was tremendous. That was a nice and succinct explanation of the benefits of the partnership. It is also impressive the number of articles that come through the RapidILL system. And as we've heard earlier, that seems to be a fairly automated process now for requesting materials through Linda Hall. I'd like to turn this around, though, and introduce our next speaker, which is Carrie Cassio from the Linda Hall Library, who's going to talk a little bit more about the collections and services from Linda Hall to give everybody a good sense of what's in that beautiful building that they have. Carrie?
Thanks, James. So I'm Carrie Cassio. I am the Director of Innovative Technologies and Library Resource Management here at the Linda Hall Library. For those of you who are not very familiar with us, we were established in 1946 in Kansas City, and it was from the estate of Herbert and Linda Hall. Linda Hall is not related to the Hall of Hallmark in Kansas City. We do get that question a lot, but rather they found their money in grain, and they decided to build a library with their will. And since there was already a Kansas City Public Library, the board looked around and decided to create a science library. Next slide, please. And the core of that library was purchasing the American Academy of Arts and Sciences collection. 1946-47, depends who you talk to. It's when we purchased it, when it actually ended up here. That's really the core of what we have. We were able to expand on this in the 80s with the Franklin Institute's library, and then another very large collection that we were able to acquire was when the Engineering Society's library closed in the 1990s. And that gave us everything from ASCE, ASME, IEEE, IAME, and IACHE. And that really built a lot of the engineering collection and actually added the word engineering to our name. We are the Linda Hall Library of Science, Engineering, and Technology. I mean, we used to just be science and technology. We also have a very strong history of science collection. The photograph on the right there is our history of science reading room. You can see our vault in the background there. And we do have books back to the beginning of printing, and we're very proud of that collection as well. Next slide. So some of the materials of note, we have industry standards and specifications, Engineering Society's meeting papers with the ESL collection that we had gotten, conference proceedings, and technical reports. Now, as Kevin mentioned, many of these are not actually available through our agreement with CRL, though, due to royalties that we do have to pay to those publishers. And we have had this question come up a few times, and sometimes there's some confusion. So if you were to purchase or, request any of these from us through OCLC, you would actually get charged for those requests. So just keep in mind that it's things that you're going to get through RapidILL that's going to be free of charge with CRL picking up the tab on that. Next slide, please. To give you an idea of some of the other services we have here, document delivery is, of course, a very large part of what we do. We do that through OCLC. We've been partnered with RapidILL for quite a while, and we also do it on demand by email, phone, however someone might contact us. We do deliver to institutions all over the world. We say we reach every continent except Antarctica. We don't have any research stations there asking us for articles. And in addition to academic institutions, we also service corporations, government agencies, law firms, and engineering firms. We don't ever lend our bound physical serial volumes, so they do stay here, and we do protect that collection, but we do lend monographs. So again, as Kevin said before, if you don't ask for a monograph as an article, we will likely send you the monograph pre-1950 instead of scanning it for you, so watch out for that. We do a lot of digitization here outside of document delivery. You can find things on our website. Some of it is rare, some of it is very old, and some of it's a little bit more modern. We do have a collection of 19th century railroad journals. We have a reference staff that does research assistance. If you do have deeper questions about our collection, they're always available to help you with that. We do image rights and reproduction requests as well for publications and books. We also have a fellowship program, and I just wanted to mention that if you have researchers, if you have scholars that are in the history of science or science in general, they might want to do one of our on-site fellowships. We open that up at the end of each year for the next calendar year, so we're about to name our fellows for 2014, and at the end of 2014, we'll open it up for 2015. So please share that with your scholars. We'd really appreciate that. Next slide. So our holdings, we have over 45,000 print serial titles on our shelves. We have over 30 miles of shelving in our building, and we encompass about 220,000 square feet of library space. We currently receive over 37,000 print serials every day that come through our doors, and we catalog them, we receive them, we claim them, all that good stuff. We bind them still. And just to give you an idea, over 100,000 of our linear feet are just for serials alone. And then we have some open stacks monographs that people can browse, as well as our closed stacks, which people do have to place a request, and many of those do not leave the building. Our most recent edition was completed in 2006, and that gave us a 3-story annex, and that gave us compact shelving to store all of these serial runs. So if you're ever in Kansas City, we'd be happy to show you around. It's really a neat place to get a look at if you get a chance. Next slide. Our collection strengths, as you might imagine, engineering, physics, and chemistry are really our focuses right now. We're also historically strong in astronomy and mathematics. We have geology, biology, soil science, biochemistry, physiology. We don't collect medical materials because we do have a very strong collection nearby at the University of Kansas over in Lawrence. Our languages were very strong in Russian and Eastern European. We still have exchange relationships with organizations in Eastern Europe, and we do exchange materials with them. We have Chinese and Asian, and we also have very strong Western European. Somebody has just asked how many electronic subscriptions we have. We have very few. We don't have a way for people to get a lot of electronic resources off-site. We do not do any proxy servers. So you do have to visit us in our building when we are open to access any of our electronic resources. And a lot of those help our reference librarians to help other people. Next slide, please. And here, and just as the question has come up, I'm about to talk about it. So here's our deal with holdings and where they are and where you can find them. The RapidILL catalog and the Linda Hall Library catalog, our own catalog, reflect the most up-to-date serials issue level holdings. OCLC monograph holdings are accurate. Our serial holdings, our LHRs and OCLC, do need to get replaced, and we are working on that project. It's kind of been pushed off a bit longer than we had hoped. We hoped to have done it last year, but it will be something that we're going to be able to get done this year so that you will get those exact years and volumes. So right now, OCLC is fairly accurate, but not the most accurate place to find those local holding records. Not only have we loaded all of this information into Rapid, we've also shared it with CRL so they could put it in their PAPR database. If you're not familiar with PAPR, it's papr.crl.edu, and it's a place where print repositories can declare what they own. And we have added almost all of our holdings in there. I think there's a couple hundred that we're still trying to work out with the CRL staff to clarify. They were trying to use automated processes to do it. It was a really large project for them to get through all of our holdings and post those. So CRL can actually help you and do a comparison for you. So the comparison at no charge, if you're a CRL member, they will look at what we own at Linda Hall and also what CRL owns and other members, and do that analysis for you. So keep that in mind. We talked about the monograph request. We talked about digitizing, and Kevin gave you those instructions. And I just want to remind you, as Jane said, we are sending them their information all the time. RapidILL is up to date. So next slide, please. Thank you. Our statistics in 2013, I just wanted to kind of give you a calendar year snapshot. We received over 15,000 total requests, and we had an 85% fill rate. We filled about 12,500, a bit more than that. So it's really good. That's much better than our overall fill rate here at the library, so we were really proud of that. You'll see with the two different pods supplied, there are fewer in the Rapid member pod because we do limit that to things that are held by 25 libraries or fewer. Will come to us. If they're held by more popular libraries, things like Scientific American, they're going to go to other Rapid members. And we also thought it was interesting that CRL accounts for 33% of the requests that we actually get here at the Linda Hall Library, but it accounts for 44% of the requests that we supply. So we do really have a very nice fill rate. So one of the other questions about the holding, somebody did ask if they were discoverable through WorldShare and FirstSearch. Yes, they are, but I cannot guarantee you that that's going to be, for monographs, I would say that's up to date. For serials, I'm not going to say that those LHRs are going to always be the most up to date. Next slide. And to give you a little snapshot, you got a snapshot from Barbara before. Here are a couple of titles. I'm not going to try to give the original language there. So, Journal of Catalysis, Crystallography, Herpetology, and then here are some of the titles that we did. You can see again, it goes across engineering, it goes across biosciences, and then my favorite was the modeling of tires on snow. I thought was very appropriate for the winter that we've had here. And our requested materials year-wise, we go back to the 1800s. We go back pretty far into our collection to supply to you. And we also do things that are very current. So if we've got it on our shelf and it fits the parameters, we can scan an article for you and send it. So it's 2014. You can get that as well. Last slide, please. Or my last slide, rather. Next slide. So our online catalog, you can always look there and see what we've got going on. We also have our digital collections. Everything that we have digitized that are in the public domain is at lhldigital.lindahall.org. The best person to talk to here, if you have questions, is Ben Gibson. Many of you have probably worked with him before. He is our head of document services. And if you have specific questions on how things work, I would say that Kevin and Jane are probably your best bet, but we are always here to help and talk to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. That was great. We're encouraging people to continue to submit their questions and comments through the chat or Q&A function, and sounds like some of these have been addressed as we go along, but please do continue to submit them. I think what we've seen here or heard here has been a lot of important strategies for you as CRL members to think about how to engage with CRL and the Linda Hall partnership. Certainly, we've made it as easily available as we possibly can with the existing technology. RapidILL, especially with its automated processing, just makes it as easy as can be for those who have systems that are conforming to that. Carrie's shared a lot of great information about how you can discover more about the Linda Hall collections. And I just wanted to point out, talk very briefly about the Print Archives Preservation Registry as another tool in your toolkit for assessing the Linda Hall and CRL collections. As Carrie mentioned, the paper database, which is hosted here at CRL, is a collection management tool that CRL has been working in partnership with the California Digital Library to mount and make available. It's part of a broader initiative of all print archives programs to provide some transparent information to you in collection management decisions. So in this case, as part of this initiative, the Linda Hall collection, all of the serial collection, has been loaded up into the paper database. That's all of the collection, I should say, that's part of the CRL Linda Hall partnership, has been loaded into the paper database. This is really an important factor for you to use in determining both what's being held and what should be held for in a trusted print repository, for you to make your own collection decisions on, say, what to subscribe to, maybe what you don't have to subscribe to any further, what you might move into offsite storage. So the paper database really deserves a further look, and I'm just going to provide a couple of quick snapshots, but mention here that in less than a month, we're going to have a full webinar about the paper database that we encourage all of you to participate in that webinar so you can learn more about it. But just for a teaser, I guess, I wanted to provide just a couple quick snaps here. As I mentioned, Linda Hall's loaded all of its records. As of February, we've had a little over 36,000 titles loaded into the paper database. Linda Hall is one of the biggest contributors to the registry, so we're very happy about that. This screen right here is a snapshot of the program page. So in the database, we list all of the cooperative print archiving programs. You can click in and find more information about the program to see how the material is stored, under what conditions, and the like. And you can also see here that you can download a full list of the titles of all of the material that has been inputted through that partnership. So right below the title there, Linda Hall Library, you can see download archive holdings. So if you're interested in what is included in the partnership and you want it in an easily manipulable format, go ahead into the paper database and take a look at that. It's a really useful tool. In the next screen, I just want to show you a quick example of kind of a search results page here, what you can do within the paper database is query particular titles or particular subjects. And here I just typed in as the subject chemistry, and you can see the results that pop up under the broad subject heading of chemistry. And you can see a lot of Linda Hall holdings here within that. So it provides you a list of titles as well as which particular print archiving programs hold it. As you can see down towards the bottom, the accounts of chemical research, or I don't know if you can read that on your screen, but you can see that that's held by multiple repositories, Portico, Linda Hall, and others. But for a lot of these titles, you'll find unique holdings by the Linda Hall Library within print archiving programs. So that's another important thing. And if you click on the link for any particular title, you'll get to a details page that will include a summary of the holdings by particular program, as well as missing volumes for that material. So this is a very granular level analysis of the material that's being stored by any particular print archiving program, which of course includes here the Linda Hall Library partnership. So that's just a taste of it. Amy Wood, who's our head of systems here, will be talking more about this on April 2nd, I believe is the date. We'll be providing you some connecting information to that at the end of it. But please do, in the meanwhile, go to the About Paper page on CRL's website or directly into the database at papr.crl.edu. So I'm going to press on before we get to our Q&A session here to talk about some more of the tools and some of the future program plans of the CRL Linda Hall partnership. So keep paper in mind in some of these things. Something else that we've done in the past year is worked with the Linda Hall and CRL collections to provide some very thorough and detailed overviews, comparison of our collections with each other's as well as with other library holdings. And Steve Bosch, who's our senior advisor for the science partnership, he's at the University of Arizona, has been diligently working through a lot of this data, and he presented to the CRL annual council meeting and Global Collections Forum last year, that was in April of 2013, on the Linda Hall partnership and an assessment of the collection that he undertook over a period of several months. This was really a thorough analysis that was aiming to contribute to the overall collection development portion of this partnership. And here I just provided a little screenshot of some of the findings that came out of that collection assessment. I wanted to mention that a more full summary has been posted on the Global Partner page for the Linda Hall Partnership on CRL's website, and you can drill down into that and get a better sense of what that collection analysis revealed. But in short, the intent of the Collection Development Partnership is to build on the strengths of the CRL and Linda Hall Partnership and to create and maintain a premier collection of science, engineering, and technology materials. And this collection analysis really served to demonstrate some important outcomes that we are reaching that goal. So this collection assessment that was, as I said, was presented last year. This slide shows a comparison of the CRL Linda Hall collection against other libraries in OCLC's WorldCat database. Steve provided here a snapshot of the serial holdings, that is serials in particular, against the holdings of some of the top libraries that hold science, technology, and engineering materials. There are specifically two categories that he compared. One was a group of the top STE institutions, those with science, technology, and engineering collections, as well as against the top 20 ARL libraries to provide a measure of how our combined collection stacks up against their own collections. And you can see here, for example, in the blue columns, in particular subjects, the CRL Linda Hall collection stacks up quite well against an average holding of any particular library in that group. So for one of the top STE libraries, in chemistry, for instance, any number of titles, CRL holds as many as 150% of those titles. So again, 50% larger than the holdings of an average top STE library as represented in the CRL Linda Hall collection. The same applies here with engineering, with geography and earth sciences, with physical sciences. With very few exceptions, you'll see that CRL Linda Hall collection really represents a premier collection of serial titles for you to access and to provide for your researchers. In fact, if you take all of the holdings of the libraries combined, that is, all of the libraries within the study, we still stack up quite well, holding anywhere from a quarter to a third of all of the journal titles combined against all of those libraries. So that's quite a, to my mind, a stunning statistic on this. So the collection development portion of our partnership really is what we're working on moving forward here. It's important to understand that the goal of the partnership really is to support and enhance advanced research, scholarship, and education in the sciences for all CRL members. So that includes not just providing access to the existing collection of these two institutions, but helping build and maintain those collections moving forward, especially in response to the changing needs of scholarship. So we are putting together a collection development plan that's in draft form right now that builds on this collection assessment and with the existing collecting profiles of both CRL and Linda Hall to help guide our members moving forward what they can expect out of the CRL Linda Hall partnership. That is important for you making your own local collection decisions. If you can rely on the CRL Linda Hall partnership to collect in certain areas, you might choose to de-emphasize those areas in your own local collecting and focus on areas of particular local needs, relying on the CRL partnership to provide access to those materials that maybe is not core to your own materials. So the focus on our collecting priorities, as you can see here, suggests certain areas that we will undertake that will help impact your own local collecting decisions. That is, strategic areas of interest. We've heard a lot about the strengths of the Linda Hall collections, and we foresee those moving forward, particularly in the areas of chemistry, physics, engineering, and technology, and a number of the subfields within those. But also the foreign language collections. Both CRL and Linda Hall have extensive collections of materials from outside the United States and Canada. These are rarely held materials in our experience, and we see that they're important to support a global perspective in science. And we think that that's something that needs to be encouraged and built moving forward. We're also providing a lot of attention to the rare and unique titles that are rarely held by institutions within the United States, and materials that are not being archived by other print repositories. All of these factors are going in to help build our collection development policy moving forward. So I hope that provides a certain level of information about the program moving forward. both in terms of how you can access the collections now, what you can expect to see from us in the future. And we're happy to take the Q&A, the discussion session now at this point. I know that we've gotten a number of questions coming in, and I hope our speakers are still on the line that can help answer some of these questions.
Yes, hi, this is Carrie. One of the questions came through about us, Linda Hall scanning articles in color. If there is color in the journal, we will scan that in color for the CRL partnership. So you don't need to request it specifically.
Great, that's really helpful, Carrie. Thank you.
And this is Jane. I had a question that said, if we are a RAPID member and we have opted out of the document supplier pod, but they're still a CRL member, do we need to change anything in our setup? And no, you don't. We've taken care of that for you. It's all set.
Great, thank you so much, Jane. That's great. There was a question here about digitization on demand. And the question came to us that said, is the Digitization on Demand project, and that is, I presume, for the monograph collection, is the Digitization on Demand only for public domain material? Kevin, do you want to address that? Maybe Carrie can address that one.
No, they're not only for public domain, and that's why we chose that, or CRL chose that 1950 cutoff. So because we're still using it for educational purposes, and it's being sent into the CRL database, that we decided that was fair use.
Yes, and for our part, as many of you know, CRL's own local digitization program here also has a component where we're not necessarily putting a cutoff on the public domain. We're putting it on our restricted servers that are available only to CRL members. So you should have reasonably transparent access to those materials through the CRL catalog once they've been digitized. And in fact, they're available for all CRL members after that through our restricted servers. So we could talk a little bit more about our digitization workflow if this is proving more confusing than it's worth.
We have another question asking, can full books be requested for scanning through VDX? For those who are not using OCLC, we are asking you, if you want a pre-1950 monograph digitized, to please contact me here at CRL. I'm Kevin. Contact me at CRL, and I will get in contact with Linda Hall with your request.
We had another question come in through the chat that was asking for some clarification about, is all of this material available for borrowing, not just as a collection tool? I think perhaps that question might have been coming in during the paper database part of the discussion. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't staring at the screen at the time. So maybe there's some clarification from the who originally posted the question might be necessary here. But anything that's put into the paper database, anything that's put into the Rapid pod for CRL and Linda Hall is available for borrowing. All of that material is included as part of our partnership. All 50,000 journal titles is available for the borrowing component of it.
We have another question asking if there is a fee for using the RapidILL for this project. No, there's absolutely no cost to our CRL members for using RapidILL to get articles through Rapid for Linda Hall or for CRL.
Okay, and then one of the other questions, this is Carrie, about if Linda Hall supplies a fee amount for specific materials or charges are affiliated with the delivery of the item. For everything within the CRL partnership, there is no charge, so we would not be sending you any fee amounts. It just, you'll get it, and CRL is picking up the tab on that. Now, if you do request something that is outside of the partnership, yes, there would be fees involved, and we would talk to you about that. There has been some confusion. Sometimes we're getting requests through OCLC that should have been coming through Rapid, and we did charge those libraries because it was not coming through the Rapid CRL interface. So just keep in mind that If you're doing something outside of the partnership, yes, we'll charge you, but if it's within the parameters of the partnership, there is no charge.
Thanks, Carrie. That was very, very clear.
Okay, good, because I was afraid I was repeating myself.
Right, so let me just reiterate that if you are requesting an article, it must be done through Rapid. If you are requesting the scanning of a pre-1950 monograph, it should be done through OCLC WorldShare. And the request should be put in as an article, not as a loan. If you put it in as a loan, Linda Hall will be sending you a book and charging you the fee.
This is an important point, I think, because the monograph digitization, or the digitization on demand, is, to our minds, a wonderful extension of the original part of the partnership with the serials, in that you can get this material available electronically, any monograph pre-1950 that's part of this, and that's a great way to maximize the benefit of your membership within CRL. Again, there's no cost to you for this part of it. So it does require a little bit of proactive thinking on your part. If you have faculty members or scholars who are looking for content, to be able to identify within the Linda Hall Library and to take the extra step of requesting it through a somewhat specialized research request. That's not at all difficult. It just requires you of maybe putting a sticky note on your computer screen. We'd love to ramp up the digitization aspect of this partnership.
This is Jane, and I do have one comment I neglected to mention that I'd like to bring up now. For all of you that are using First Search as your requesting tool, Rapid is set up for you to go to WorldShare. Whenever you are ready for WorldShare, just let us know. It's a very easy setup. It'll take us, 10 minutes if I stop and have a cup of coffee during the setup. So when you're ready for WorldShare, let us know. That cutoff is coming right up. And all of you who are First Search users should have received an email from me last month along those lines. Thanks.
This is Carrie again. There is a question about if Linda Hall has a list of materials that we need, if we actually have a list for collection gaps that are critical. I'm not sure if we actually have a list that is public on that, but if anybody does have materials that they would want to see if we do need them, you would contact Daryl Limpus. He is the head of collections here at the Linda Hall Library, and he'd be the person to talk to about that. And he's always looking to fill those gaps.
Thanks, Carrie. That brings to mind one of the important things of this partnership that we hope to further develop in the coming years, which is really affecting a closer merge of the two collections of CRL and Linda Hall, that is examining where there might be gaps in one or the other particular collections, and making sure that those collections are being met, whether it's a physical transfer or making sure that the holdings are merged. That's something that we're going to be looking forward moving on.
Yeah, and I think paper is really going to help us with that too.
Yeah. Good. We have a follow-up question about the VDX, and the question was, how complex is the VDX workaround? I presume that's for Jane, yes?
That would be my question. The VDX workaround, and it pains me greatly to say this. First of all, it's not complex at all. Second of all, it's a manual process. You go to the Rapid web page, you click a button that says Make New Request, and you physically type in the information and then click Submit. So while it's not difficult at all, it's cumbersome, and quite frankly, it just kills us to have anyone do anything manually. So let me know if that doesn't answer your question.
Great. I think it's we're hitting the end of the hour here. So if there are any further questions, we'll endeavor to get those passed on to the presenters or answer them offline. So we're going to, I think, wrap up just by thanking all of you, both presenters, for taking some time, with us today, as well as everybody who signed in today to learn more about the CRL Linda Hall partnership. If you have further questions and you want to contact any one of us, we're providing the email addresses up here on the screen, and we do welcome any questions or comments you may have. I'm going to turn this over to Gwen Einat for some closing remarks.
Sorry, James. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Gwen Einat. I'm at the bottom of all your emails from CRL regarding this event. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and a huge thanks to Barbara, Jane, and Carrie for their time working on this event. As you can tell, they're an absolute dream to work with, and we really appreciate it. All the contact information was just up on your screen. I'll also be sending out a follow-up email this afternoon, so please look for that. That has like the emails. When you leave this event, there will be a survey that pops up. Please take a moment and just fill it out quickly. We really appreciate comments. It helps refine our webinar program, and we appreciate your time. As James mentioned, we have a webinar on the Print Archives Preservation Registry, as luck would have it, next month on Wednesday, April 2nd, same time, 2 o'clock Central Time. So you can find that on our website under events, and feel free to register and join us for that. Also, our annual meeting this year is in Chicago, focusing on government data this year, and there's more information about that on our website as well. Again, there's the survey URL, but that'll also pop up when you leave. This presentation, if you want to view it again or share it with colleagues, will be available shortly, usually within a week, on the event page that you use to register, and also on our YouTube channel, along with many other CRL productions. So please take a moment to look at that. Visit our website. You can sign up for CRL Connect, which will help you be informed about these type of events, make it easier to register, and you can always find us on Facebook and Twitter. If you have any questions, feel free to contact any of us. Thank you again for your time, and have a wonderful afternoon.